sometime during this evening. We'll be talking to Richard Bexx. We're just trying to get hold of him now, actually, and the phone line just went down a moment ago, so we're just going to try and get hold of Richard Bexx, and we'll be talking to him live as well. It's from the Parsonage Retreat, and if you want to look at the website, it's parsonageretreat.webs.com. Quite an impressive place in the north part of Somerset, and they have quite a few workshops, weekend open days and various things, so as soon as we can get hold of Richard, we'll get right back to you on that one. We will also be talking about the ant this evening on The Shaman Speaks. It's an interesting one. I know it's always funny when you're talking about it, but the ant is a really valid power animal, and we will be looking at that in more depth as our featured power animal of the week, so don't forget that as well. So we're going to have a little bit more music just while we bring Richard into the studio, which I think we are now, and then be right back with you. Lovely album, Native American Flute and Healing Winds, and track 2 was There She Was by J.J. Kent. And the big problem we do have with a lot of different record labels that send us albums that you may have found at the other end of the stick, so to speak, being a listener, is that they're all mastered differently to different levels. So constantly having to renew the different levels that things are played at, and it can be very frustrating. So just bear with us on that one. But it's quite bizarre. Anyway, it's time for us now at the hour of 8:31 here in the UK. You're listening to One World Radio, and OWR brings you this evening The Shaman Speaks, my show here, especially for you guys and gals out there. And we also bring you this evening some information on a place that I've been looking at all afternoon on the internet. I'm just going to get this address right this time. So put the www in front of it as well. Parsonage Resident Retreat. Parsonage, let's get this right. Parsonage Side Retreat.webs.com. I think I got there in the end, Richard Bexx, didn't I?
Yeah, got there now.
Welcome to the programme, Richard, and it's good to finally speak to you.
Thank you. Nice to be invited. It's lovely.
So tell us all about the history of the Parsonage Side Retreat. It's fascinating.
The history, well, it goes really far back, hundreds and hundreds of years, or even more. There used to be a monastery here. I don't know sure what the date it was, but I knew there was a monastery type thing here, and then it got turned into a parsonage, and then for the local vicar for the church. So it's always had like sort of really holy energy here also. And I've seen monks pass through the building. Wow. And a few other people have mentioned monks. For a number of years after that, it was a farm, which it was called Parsonage Farm. I don't know how long it was. It was a part of a dairy also, had lots of cows about, yeah. And it was an orchard as well, lots of apple trees. And only recently it was owned by a couple of owners. One lady had it most of her life till she was about 80 years old. And the last owners, it was quite an interesting story actually. The builder who lived there last, he lived in the next village called Cummage. Yeah. And he drove past his house every day looking at it since he was younger, since he was like 10 years old. Yeah. And he wanted to build this place up a bit. So when he got the opportunity, when he was old enough, and he bought the place, he put a swimming pool in, made a courtyard, and did the gardens up a bit, and did some of the hard work for us, really. So about 2004, we moved here as a family, me, my parents, and my uncle. And since then, until pretty much this year, we've just been non-stop building the place as a family, putting extensions on, redoing the whole gardens, painting, and just building it up into a residential retreat centre.
It's a real labour of love for you, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. And it's like, it's amazing. I was thinking about this the other day, that there's not one part, not like 1 square inch of this place that I haven't sort of worked on, and it's with a family also. And it's just like, wow, like I've really worked the whole place, and now it's ready to sort of get used and people to come and rent the space. So there's more to come.
And I believe from looking at your website, it's on ley lines as well, yeah?
That's right, yeah. Interesting story. The way we got to property was that the last owner before us, there was an offer in, and that person who put the offer wanted to buy the place for the ley lines. of years ago, having an out-of-body experience and seeing this place.
Yeah.
Came here, and he just knew this was the place to be and to set up what we wanted to do. And so anyway, the people that put the offer in, they fell down, and within, like, I think it was about within an hour of all that happening, the property, it was just quite interesting.
Yeah.
Divine timing and everything.
Yeah. Amazing synchronicity. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just been an amazing experience, a good journey, and just learned so much from it. Also, how to build a property up, and on my own path also on the way.
Yeah.
As a fledgling medium and healer also.
Yeah. Yeah. I believe it's a self-catering and B&B as well, isn't it?
That's right.
17 people, is that right?
Yeah. Near down the future, we want to have sort of full board sort of dinners and lunches. At the moment, we're just starting off just small, having just continental breakfast, self-catering and things like that. So we're looking to expand, but just trying to keep it short and sweet at the moment.
Now, what I liked about this, there's a couple of things I want to bring up here. Large meditation space.
Yep.
Roomy roundhouse. I remember a friend of mine who doesn't actually live too far away from you,
Okay.
Nigel Shaw in Dartmoor, has got a roundhouse.
Oh, lovely. Yeah. I built it about, I can't remember how long ago it was now, back in 2005.
Yeah.
After seeing the inspiration of a friend of mine in Cornwall,
Uh-huh.
and I just thought, wow, I just feel this is, I've got to build this one. And just lots of people loved it ever since, loved the energy and the building, and it's just part of the character of the place now.
Okay, tell me and the listeners, Richard, this is, I'm fascinated with this. I'm looking at the picture here. Indoor swimming pool, which we hold full moon golden healing pools.
Yeah, sure. About that, around every full moon, we have a full moon healing ceremony, which I do harmonics. Have you heard of that at all? Like overtones?
Yep, yeah, I have, yeah.
Yeah, okay. And we also have another helper with me who uses a singing bowl, which is the note F, which is the heart chakra.
Yeah.
And because we're 70% water,
Yeah.
and basically the singing bowl goes on top of the water, and it vibrates through yourself and the water. And it basically, if you know much about like water healing, sound healing, it basically changes the structure of that water into this amazing frequency of basically the heart chakra.
Mm-hmm.
It's the center, of your being and love and everything. And a lot of people just feel vibrating after. And also with the ley lines, also that just amplifies it.
It looks really nice. I'd love to have a go at that myself.
Sure.
We were literally just talking about the chakras and the tonage of them last night, so it's quite interesting you should mention that.
Yeah, good.
Yeah. Also, tell us about what are free flow weekends?
Free flow weekend.
Yeah.
I had an idea of putting together was basically just having a weekend where people come together and just share what they do, with experiences or share their healing abilities, anything. And so basically they just pay for their accommodation, which starts around £30 to £35 per night. And it's just 3 days, Friday evening till Sunday evening. And just people take it in turns for about maybe an hour or two, depending how many people there are, just sharing their abilities, their knowledge, and just everyone learning together. And it's brilliant for people who are just starting out, just to really get out there, helping them with confidence and just clarity in their communication and everything.
You've got an open day, I believe, coming up in May, haven't you?
Yeah, May 7th and 8th. Yeah.
And tell us about that.
Well, the whole story where we came here originally was, I don't know if you heard of Hemisync or the Monroe Institute.
I've heard of that, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Well, if you know about it, it's in America, in Virginia, and it all started from a guy called Robert Monroe, who was a sound engineer, and he started having these spontaneous out-of-body experiences.
Ah, yeah.
And he developed, found out that these sound frequencies that you listen to, it could change your state of consciousness, for accelerated learning, stop smoking, all things like that. And so my father went out there with my brother maybe 10 years ago now, and he saw how beneficial it was and the space, and I suppose that just sort of planted the seed within him to sort of going in Europe, in England. And I suppose, that was sort of a stepping stone for us to really get a retreat centre and to have it equipped with like check units. I don't know if you heard of these. It's basically these like meditation pods. It's got a mattress in there, and it's like an enclosed sort of space with a curtain, gives you some privacy, and it's not claustrophobic. It's quite open.
Right.
Speakers either side of the bed.
Yeah.
Sort of plug yourself in and just forget about your worries and listen to sound technology. But we didn't know what was going to happen to the retreat when we first started, so we only built 4 of them.
Yeah.
So it can accommodate up to about 17 people at current, and we're looking to expand way in the future at the moment, but not just yet.
How are things going for you? Bear in mind the economy and everything at the moment.
It's okay. It's a bit slow.
Yeah.
I suppose end of last year there was a big shift. There's always these different shifts going on with the energy. So much about energy changing at the moment.
Yeah.
But especially also after Christmas and things, it takes a while for people to pick up. But it's more recently when the weather's getting a lot warmer now.
Yeah.
And lots of people interested, and especially around summertime, we've got lots booked out.
Yeah.
Summer solstice and just other things really.
I could imagine that would be a busy time for you, wouldn't it?
It is actually. The person who organised it, she was in 2 minds. She was like, "Oh, should I put it on the weekend or not?" I was like, "No, it has to be on the solstice, otherwise it's not."
Yeah.
And we're fully booked up. We were fully booked up and end of last year about that. So it's all looking good. Yeah.
Well, it's good to hear, and I like the little comment you made to me off air. Every part of the Britain should have a little beacon of light like this.
Definitely, I think so, because there's a lot of people out there who are researching, and I think some people who don't probably have the internet maybe, who are going through a big awakening shift within themselves, and we see all these churches about, but it's a different approach, spirituality and more things are explained, and so really I think what every town or city should have is a big retreat centre,
Yeah.
which everyone can go to and seek answers and truth for themselves without any sort of dogma.
I couldn't agree with you more.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really it, isn't it? We're now breaking away from that dogma of being told what we should do and just accept it, and instead we're now looking and contacting and getting involved ourselves directly, aren't we?
Definitely. There's a lot of people out there who I believe are sceptical because they haven't had the experiences or haven't sort of gone deep into it themselves.
Yeah.
I know some people aren't ready yet, but when the time's right, it'll happen. But when it happens for them, they're not going to know where to turn to because they haven't seen anything, in the horizon of where to go. And they just see churches and they're like, I'm not sure, about this. No offense to churches, but
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
more sort of spiritual churches and
Yeah.
things like that are really deep to the core of truth and understanding.
The big problem, I think, with churches and organised earth-based religions, in my opinion, and probably others as well, is that there's a lot of fear involved in there as well. That when people start expressing that they want to find out more for themselves, it's almost like you're not meant to do that.
There is. I'm not religious at all. I'm from a very scientific-based spirituality, and really, it's what I want to set up here. Also, is people find their own truth for themselves without me telling people what they would expect to happen in experience. I know there's I focus on a lot of like our body work, like astral projection.
Yeah.
Which I'm really into myself, and there are some experiences which a lot of people will have, but even that, so everyone has a different experience.
I'd like to talk to you about that, actually, OBEs, because I noticed you've got a web page specifically on it, because I think I've had one myself.
Okay.
I found, and I was reading your website, and it did actually ring quite a bell. I mean, I've trained as a shaman for quite a few years myself on the Native American aspect of things, but I found myself when I was doing some journeying work the other day, and I got very, very deep into it, and I actually felt myself literally lifting up and then moving forward, almost like I was sitting up, and it was almost like I could travel through the different parts of the house and the rooms and etc.
Right, brilliant.
Would that be that?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, for me, I've had many experiences what you call outside the body, which you project outside your body, and you know that you're doing that. But there's only been a few instances that's happened. But every time I've come out, it's been so real that I've mistaken it and thinking I've just woken up in the middle of the night, sleepwalking or something like that. And I think, oh, I'll go back to bed. But within that instance of thinking that, I'm back in my bed and like, oh, now I was out. I could have like walked on top of the pyramids or something.
Yeah. So tell the listeners and people what they would expect. So, for instance, if they think they may have had an OBE, tell them what their feelings and things that they are that might give them a clue if they have had one.
Okay. Something I tell a lot of people is that try and remember an experience that you had yesterday, for example. You can't really remember fully being there. Like you can, but it's like it's not as vivid as it is now. Like you're experiencing life like fully awake. You sort of remember it as like a memory, like you see it as flashbacks and things in your mind, and that's what it's like in like the dream state. There's different types of dream states. So when you wake up from, say, a very deep dream state or lucid dreaming, you have been there, but it's when you come back, you're sort of remembering the things that have happened when you're in that sort of different dimension. You know?
Right. Yeah, I get you exactly.
Yeah, but being really conscious of having an out of body is just. It's amazing, and I'd say I've had this a few times, and one experience, just as I said a minute ago, is just so real. Like, I woke up looking at my bedroom door, and I was obviously in my bed physically behind me.
Yeah.
I didn't realise that because it's so real. You know, you're experiencing everything right in front of you, but energy. So my instance was I'm upstairs, but I'm going to go downstairs and get a glass of milk. As I did that, I went to go towards the handle of the door, and I didn't go downstairs, walk down it. I just flew through the floorboards and ended up in my kitchen, which was parallel to my bedroom downstairs. And I was next to the fridge, but I didn't have the memory of walking through the stairs, just because it was so real. It just didn't click.
And this can be done at any time of the day, can't it?
Well, if you're, say, sleeping, it all happens then.
Yeah.
There are some very, very rare cases that people have just sort of zonked out and just gone out of their bodies.
Right.
There's a famous Formula 1 driver called Ayrton Senna. I don't know if you've heard of him.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had loads of out-body experiences on the track also.
Really?
Yeah, looking over his car and driving it, and he was in total control of both his physical and non-physical body.
Fascinating.
So yeah, going back to the experience I had, I was just downstairs, and I thought, what am I doing? I don't feel thirsty or hungry. Get a glass of milk and biscuit. So I thought, I'll go back to bed, and within that instant, I was back in my bed, and I got up, and I was a bit disorientated, and it took me a while to sort of, get back into sort of my body almost.
Mm-hmm.
It's so sort of fuzzy. And then it was like then, I was just out of my body, but I just didn't think. Because it's so real. So I haven't gone beyond anything, done that, but I am trying. And also time as well. I'm quite busy, but it's an amazing thing to get into, and really you can find so much truth for yourself. You can go back in time and travel the world for free. So.
Well, in a way, it sort of ridicules the notion of time itself, isn't it? Because time really is, in actuality, is a fluid thing, isn't it?
It is. I don't know if you've seen the film Inception.
Yeah.
That pretty much explains, how time is different. I don't know if you think when the car was going off the cliff.
Yeah.
And everything else is happening at different times.
Mm.
Yeah, it's pretty much like that. And I suppose I can remember a lot of my dreams, especially when I wake up. I can remember at least 10 dreams sometimes when I wake up.
Yeah.
And they're all quite lucid. And I had a real intense trip the other week, which it wasn't an out-of-body at all, but I was very, very lucid. And when I woke up, I felt I'd been away for a week, and I was like, I didn't know what day it was at all.
Yeah.
It was just that insane. So it is an amazing thing to sort of research and get into, and that's what we do here. There's quite a few out-of-body workshops where we are as well.
Oh, so you actually do workshops on it, do you?
There is, yeah. There's two really cool facilitators, which you call them, who teach how to go out of body. It takes you the steps how to do it, but it's up to you to make the effort, because it takes a lot of effort and dedication also. I suppose it is like a spiritual practice. You just keep it up and keep going.
Well, I've just been flicking through your website while I've been talking rather cheekily there, and I've noticed you've got some very intriguing rooms here, Richard, as well.
Yeah.
Egyptian one, but there's one that's very close to my heart,
Okay.
the Lakota Lounge.
Yeah, definitely. Did you see the roundhouse as well?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Basically, my idea was to, as I said, not make this a place of religious study or anything. That is acceptable here, but I didn't want to sort of, push people away. I just wanted to sort of bring in different belief systems and like Egyptians and Buddhism and Lakota, just to give it names and just feel for the place, just to bring different energies in.
Yeah, it's a good idea. I think if you got me in that roundhouse, I doubt if I'd get out of it, actually. Wouldn't want to leave.
Yeah, it's an amazing space. It's just down the bottom of the garden, away from everything, and it's just so quiet there. And a lot of people who've been here just say that the website doesn't do it justice either.
Yeah.
And it's amazing to hear that, to think, it's probably better than hearing it the other way around. to look at the website and think, maybe not good. So a lot of people who've been here have had really amazing experiences, just through healing. I suppose the ley line activity here has had a number of stories, people on, say, antibiotics and just, in a real sort of bad illness state. And they've literally walked through the door and they just feel so like normal almost, they want to say.
Yeah, or how they really want to feel, yeah.
Yeah, and it's amazing how, I don't know what it is going on here. There is ley line energy and it's sort of a lot of old sort of monk energy here. But I don't know what surely it is, but something's helping people, which is great.
Well, I think really when you start something up like this, Richard, a lot of it is the energy of intent, isn't it? What you're putting out, what you want to do.
Definitely. I don't know if you've heard of Babaji at all.
No, I haven't. No.
He was a person in Himalayas back
Right.
in the 1950s.
Mm-hmm.
He started the ashrams up.
Oh, yeah.
And there's many stories about him materializing, like manifesting his own physical body, and basically being a physical incarnate, and just starting up all these places, all these ashrams.
Yeah.
His main intent was to not have anybody build any of the ashrams, the buildings, which is like an accommodation, which everyone works together in love, basically.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And he didn't want anyone to use tools, like apart from spades and hammers and things. And it had to be all done by hand.
Yeah.
And the reason for that is that you're putting your own energy into it.
Ah, yeah.
And
Yeah.
It worked in such a way that people worked 4 or 5 hours a day, and the rest they had to themselves for spiritual development, meditation, and it was basically like a big community. And I can't remember what he called it, the Indian name, but it was basically, it meant like moving the mountain, but like by hand. And after reading this in his book, I think it's called Fire of Transformation, and it's kind of like, I looked at it like what I was doing here, like, I've done a lot by hand myself as a family also.
Yeah.
And it's just like, and it's just, it's enjoying the space, and I can see myself being here a long time and enjoying the journey also.
It's lovely to hear that. Have you got any anything you want to promote? I know you promoted the open day, but have you got anything special you want to get out on the airwaves?
Well, there's lots of things happening here, so it's probably best to check out the website and look at the workshops.
You can give that this time.
Yeah. But the open weekend, definitely people come to that because it's free entry, and just pay a small donation to all the little workshops that are taking place, a bit of an energy exchange.
Yeah.
So lots of interesting things going on. There's Reiki healing drumming, there's sort of meditations, healing, mediumship, there's out-body talks, there's so much going on. And there's quite a few people who are doing workshops here throughout the year, like out-body workshops, there's holotropic breath work, and I can't remember a lot off the top of my head, but because we've got lots of people different in.
Yeah.
But just check out their website
And that address once again is, Richard?
Sorry?
What is the address?
The address of the website.
Yeah.
You'll get pens and papers ready.
Yeah.
So I find that a bit difficult when people are listening and they can't.
Indeed. Yeah.
Yeah, get ready. So the website is Parsonage Side Retreat, which is PARSONAGE Side, which is SIDE, and then find all the information, contact information, where we are, and all the workshops that are taking place, and I'm always updating it also. So, yeah.
Well, you've done a great job, and it looks a wonderful place, and just looking at it, even via the medium of the internet, it does give off a lovely energy.
Thank you.
And a big thank you for joining us on OWR this evening. And I've got a feeling you may actually be seeing us in person at some stage.
Oh, brilliant. That'd be lovely.
Well, thank you, Richard.
Okay.
Speak to you again soon.
Have a good evening.
Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye.